The March 25th, 2020 special meeting of the Board of Selectmen will now come to order. As we are following the guidelines for social distancing, I'm here at Town Hall along with Stacy Haskell, but all the other members of the Board of Selectmen are joining via call, as well as the others who are participating in this meeting. Just for roll call purposes, June Strunk, are you on the call?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful. And Deb Downey, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm here.
Wonderful, thank you. And everyone who maybe is joining us on Facebook Live, as well as those listening on the phone, we just want to remind everyone to please keep your line muted during the call until you want to speak. So with that said, I'd like to ask you to join me in a pledge of allegiance. If you can find a flag wherever you are, or if you could look on Facebook Live, and we have one here. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
United States of America, and to the republic
for which
it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That went as well as could be expected. Okay, so back to the meeting. So now we're gonna, for the public hearing portion of the meeting, I wanted to confirm the following people are on the line. First, Julie Savin, Vice President of Eastern Connecticut Housing Opportunities.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you, Julie. James Sullivan, Stonington Director of Finance. Jim? He's muted. He's forgetting. There he goes. He's unmuted now. Jim, or can you confirm for the record you're here? He's not muted on my end. Jim, you might be muted on your own end. Do you want to try again? Jim? Well,
Jim Sullivan is here.
There we go. Thank you. And then Michelle Reese Casanova from Stonington Human Services. Michelle? Michelle, can you confirm for the record that you're on the line? You might be muted on your side. Or have it unmuted. Michelle, could you try? Michelle, we can see you on the computer. Michelle?
Yes, I'm here.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. And then, are there any residents who are planning to speak during the portion of the public hearing? If so, please state your name and address now. I don't think we have anyone. There's one person on the line. If someone else on the line besides Joe wants to say their name and address. Okay. Okay, so as of now, there's no one from the public planning to speak at the hearing. So I'm going to now call the public hearing to order. I'd like to start with Julie. Would you like to give an overview of the grant?
Absolutely. This is Julie Savin from Eastern Connecticut Housing Opportunities. We were recruited by the United Way to do the assembly of the grant, and that's pretty much where we'll end our role. The CDBG Small Cities is a federal grant. It's a community development block grant, and the reason why we refer to it as small cities is that it's a formula grant that comes from the federal government to participating jurisdictions that meet that particular formula. Most of the municipalities that meet that formula for the demographics of its population are larger towns and cities, such as London and Norwich, and then even larger Hartford, New Haven, Waterbury, and so on. The state of Connecticut itself, the Department of Housing, is a direct allocation recipient, and they disperse the funds to the smaller towns that aren't a direct recipient by way of a competitive grant process. And for the second time in recent years, there is a set aside for public service dollars. In the past, historically, the CDBG Small Cities out of the Department of Housing or DECD in some cases was always for brick and mortar type of project and not necessarily something of this nature. And so in 2018, the town of Stonington stepped up and was the sponsoring municipality because a municipality has to apply for the CDBG small cities. No one else can. And so the town of Stonington did that on behalf of, at the time, Southeastern Connecticut, the Southeastern Connecticut CAN. And the CANs are regional networks that follow the homeless population in Connecticut. And before the grant was due in 2018, the CAN merged with the Northeastern CAN to become the Eastern CAN. So in essence, the town of Stonington stepped forward to sponsor the application to get this funding to the streets for the entire eastern part of the state of Connecticut. And it has been quite successful. And just to give everyone some numbers, I don't want to bog everyone down with numbers, especially without a visual presentation. But in the last 12 months, and it should be noted that, yes, this was 2018 money, but we did not close and start the activity until 2019. And the numbers I'm going to give you are for the last 12 months. And I also want to let you know that it really didn't ramp up and get going until the summer of 2019. So in the last 12 months, 401 total diversions from shelters for homeless people into permanent housing, which is the subject of this grant, occurred as a direct result of the CDBG dollars that are passing through the town of Stonington to 5 public service agencies that are doing homeless diversions to keep people out of shelters and to find them in permanent residency in one way, shape, or form. Homeless diversion is a fairly new concept over the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 years. Everything was very sheltered-based up until then. Put people in shelter and then waited out to find housing. But we now have so many options with housing, and we have so many people working the front line that it's quite possible to identify either through 211 or directly calling our social service agencies to be able to get people into permanent housing. Something I found very interesting is that of the 401 total diversions, only 5% would be what you would say unsuccessful, who returned to shelter or who returned to homelessness. So 95% of those were total success stories. And the other thing I found very interesting when this information was given to me by the United Way, and I don't know why, but I don't know, I want to share it with you because maybe you have the same preconceived notions. 44% were white and 65% were female. And I thought those numbers were high, just to throw around and share numbers. The other thing that's really, really important about the presence of these dollars on the streets is that these CDBG dollars, they're actually raising total capacity because it's actual human capital that the money is being used for, hiring bodies, hiring people to be out there doing this work, this very difficult work. And there have been a total of 854 homeless diversions across the eastern part of Connecticut. And we truly believe that's a direct result of the CDBG dollars. So moving forward, we have fine-tuned at the state level as well as locally this project, this program, and it's been a learning curve, and I'm sure that Jim Sullivan, who's been intimately involved, can attest to, because it hit the streets without a lot of regulation and a lot of process in place. So now the total maximum that one can apply for is $350,000. to do homeless diversions over the next year, which hopefully would begin late summer. This funding would hit the streets. And we are, of course, going to now apply for the $350,000 max, especially given the success of the 5 agencies in Eastern Connecticut that are doing this work. I think what I'm going to do now is just sort of pause, because I throw out a lot of stuff and I try not to do acronyms. And if anyone has any questions for me about CDBG Small Cities and about the homeless diversion activity, and perhaps even the role of the town of Stonington, I'm happy to take those questions.
Julie, from my end, I just wanted to say a really big thank you to you, our team at Human Services, and also Jim, who I know during our Board of Finance budget hearings, a number of outside agencies, nonprofits in the region gave immense thanks, and also to the former First Selectman, Rob Simmons, who this started under. So, I mean, it's just amazing to hear how many people's lives you've been able to improve with what really is essentially not that large of a sum of money. So just a big thank you to all of you. I'll pause, like Julie said, for any quick questions. If not, I'll move over to Jim. If not, we'll have time as the Board of Selectmen to discuss this once the public hearing is over. Jim, did you have anything you wanted to add? All right, hearing nothing from Jim. Michelle, did you get any correspondence in advance this meeting, either speaking for or against this community development block grant?
We have not had any public comment at this time. I would like to add that this partnership has been proven to be very beneficial from our end. This grant has streamlined our process for assisting those facing homelessness by adding case managers we can work with directly in times of crisis.
That's great. Thank you, Michelle, so much for adding that. So I'll pause here. If there's any residents on the line that wish to speak either for or in opposition to this grant, I'll pause just in case. Okay, so hearing no other comments, that's the close of the public hearing, and now we're going to move on to the discussion portion. Stacy's going to mute everybody's lines except for Deb and June. So we have a number of documents that we need to approve to officially accept this grant. So the first one is the Citizen Participation Plan. The second is the Certificate to Affirmatively Further Fair Housing. The third is Exhibit 4.1A, Financing Plan and Budget. Then Exhibit G1, Cooperation Agreement. Exhibit G2, the CDBG Resolution. Exhibit G4, the certification by applicant, and then finally the Fair Housing Resolution. Do I hear a motion to approve the 2020 Community Development Block Grant, including all the documents just named?
Yes, this is Debbie. So moved.
Do I hear a second?
This is June Strunk. I second.
There is a motion and a second. Do you want to have any discussion?
No discussion.
Okay, so
Nope, no discussion.
thank you. So hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye, and the motion carries.
Can you just check, ask Julie if there's any other?
And Julie, before we officially move on to the rest of our meeting, is there anything else you wanted to say or share?
Or have us approve? I think we captured it.
No, I want to repeat a little bit what I said when I had to come back last fall to update the town on the progress. Is just that I commend the town of Stonington, who traditionally I don't think people see as a town that struggles with homelessness, and I think you really kind of, the town has always been a maverick when it comes to seeing the needs of the community, even the needs of its neighboring communities, and there is a need in the town of Stonington, and there is a need in our neighbors and our suburban neighbors, and we're now being able to affect the lives of so many that go unnoticed, unrecognized, without a voice. And I just give kudos to the town for taking this leadership role, and Leanne Theodore and her group, amazing group to work with, and Jim Sullivan, really beyond professional and amazing, especially with the RFPs we had to just recently do for the social service agencies, and just really keeps everybody on task and following regulations, which are so important to keep in mind. And so I just thank you all so much for your support as we move forward. And I'll be back, or the United Way will be back, probably it has to be within the next year, and we'll give you another update.
No, Julie, thank you, and that means so much. We have a great team here, and thank you for all the work you do, so thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So everyone else is welcome to stay on the line if you want. We're going to move into our regular meeting. Since we'd already set all this up, we figured we'd move along some of the items that we've had waiting. So again, you guys are welcome to stay or hop off the line. It's up to you. But the next section on our agenda is comments from the public. Are there any comments from the public? Okay, hearing none. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. So we have two sets of minutes to approve, March 11th and March 17th. Could I get a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of March 11th, 2020 and the special meeting minutes of March 17th, 2020?
This is Debbie Downey. Motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
This is June Strunk. I second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion on the two sets of meeting minutes?
No discussion.
Okay, hearing
No
none.
discussion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Wonderful, the motion carries. Thank you. We have no correspondence at this time to officially enter. So the next one is a appointment. So the Mystic River Boathouse Park Implementation Committee. Do I have a motion to appoint Rick Broberg as an alternate to the Mystic River Boathouse Park Implementation Committee?
This is Debbie Downey. Motion.
Do
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
This is June Strunk. I second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. Do you guys want to have any discussion?
No discussion. No discussion.
Wonderful, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
The motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the appointment to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Do I hear a motion to appoint Diana Lori Boersema as an alternate to the Zoning Board of Appeals?
This is Debbie Downey. So moved.
Do I hear a second?
June Strunk. I second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Nope. No discussion.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. So under old business, I just thought I'd give a very quick update on the COVID-19. There's so many things we could say, but I think just the one message I want to just continue to get out there and ask for your guys' assistance is just to really emphasize to people how important the social distancing is. People can still go out and get their groceries, but even at the grocery store, they should be maintaining their distance. If an aisle is crowded, wait to go down it. If people want to go out for a hike or be outside and exercise or walk, they are welcome to. But again, if they go somewhere that's crowded, they should leave and find somewhere else. We're very lucky in Stonington. We have so many wonderful, beautiful places that are open space. We can get creative, but don't go somewhere if it's crowded and you can't do the 6 feet of space. So that is my major update on the COVID. And then we'll have a segment next where we can do our updates from the all of us. So maybe just a final thing. Any further comments from the public? I don't think we have anyone on. So the next item is comments from the Selectmen. And Deb, if you wanted to start, if you had anything.
No, I just want to, continue to thank you and the town hall staff for the great job you're doing and how creative people are being to keep people informed and to communicate. We're trying to help out, ringing our bells and ordering takeout to try to support our local businesses.
That's great, Deb. Thank you. Yeah, encourage anyone you can to get as much takeout as they can bear, and everybody at town hall has been working, and outside human services, police, DPW, has just been working really hard, even though we're closed to the public. June, anything from your side?
I just want to echo Deb, and I just thank you for your leadership and working with you and Deb, and during this time, I just have a couple of things. I did get confirmation from Father Perkins that the church bells of St. Mary and St. Michael's are programmed in and will go off at 8 o'clock every night until we give him the all clear that we don't need them anymore. I do have there were a few people that have expressed a little bit of concern about all the out-of-towners that are starting to come into town, into their second homes, and I know escaping the COVID-19 areas of high density. And I know that there's some places that are now stopping short-term rentals. I don't think we want to get to that point, but perhaps if there's we can do a notification on our Facebook page, the town's page, just to remind people that we may be having more guests from out of town, and make sure you absolutely keep your 6 feet of social distancing. And if somebody from out of town doesn't feel very good, that they need to, contact medical personnel right away. So anyway, I know some people are starting to just be a little bit concerned about that. I mean, and we're not the only shoreline community that is having an influx of visitors, right? So everybody's having that. But I just wanted to, maybe we can just remind our permanent residents that we may have new people here, and just really the 6 feet is so critical.
Thank you.
And I think that's all I have.
And just to respond to that, we have gotten a lot of concern from residents reaching out about that fact. And what we've done on our side is we did put together a short draft to share with Governor Lamont, requesting that he consider what they're doing in Rhode Island, which is essentially, it's not a declaration or of any sense, but it's a request for people who are coming in from areas where there has been a shelter-in-place order to consider doing on their own a 14-day self-quarantine. Again, it wouldn't be an official order, but it would be a request that's put out and hopefully publicized more. And again, these people are very welcome to do takeout and delivery, and hopefully our small businesses would benefit from it. But we are putting that out there, and we will put something on our Facebook and website as well to kind of further echo that remark. So thank you. And then on my side, I just wanted to end with a positive note. Just a special thank you to Michael Payne of PC Restoration, which is a Stonington-based emergency mitigation company. And they recently sanitized 6 apartment units at the community meeting room for free at Edith K. Richmond. They reached out to offer that, which was just so kind. So we just wanted to put it in the record, a very big thank you to Michael and his team. And then just in closing, if anyone wants to help share about the 8 p.m. community bell ringing event, I know it's a kind of a simple act, but we have been hearing from a range of different residents, including a few who've been really, I'd say, quite sad about some decisions they've had to make in terms of layoffs and what they're facing as business or organizational owners or executives. And they said, hearing the bells really has lifted their spirit. So if you guys can help spread the word about the 8 p.m. ringing, and if there's any other churches or places that have bells that they could ring that could echo around town, that would be wonderful. So June, thank you for reaching out to Father Perkins. If we have anything further, all right, if not, we will stand adjourned.